grab your weapons. It's time for a new adventure, as I'll be showing you the best offline RPG game that you can play on your mobile, starting off with Immortal Prince. As the title suggests, you play as a prince who can escape death when things are critical. When he is defeated, he will be sent back into the town. You can spend some time upgrading your character as well as equipment before entering the dungeon again. The combat is satisfying and requires a bit of skills to play. You can try getting the S score by defeating enemies without getting hit, but it is not required and you can go all the way in. At number 9, we have Monkey King Kung Fu. Monkey King Kung Fu is a 2D beat-em-up game in which you control 2 out of 3 characters, each with different skills and stats. Since the game only has Chinese language, it is difficult to understand the game story and interface at first. But the game is surprisingly generous, where you can get legendary equipment easily just by watching ads. Like many other beat-em-up games, the game offers satisfying combat with stunning visual effects and easy controls. Number 8, Legend of Survivors. This game is similar to many others roguelike games, in which you can destroy thousands of enemies as a lone survivor. You can, of course, upgrade your character and get equipment. The gacha system is decent and it could take a bit of time to get powerful equipment, but the gameplay is satisfying and addicting enough, and not to mention that you can get the gift code just by visiting the game's website. Number 7, we have all Hummingbird mobile games. Yes, every game made by Hummingbird, including Broken Dawn, Alien Zone, and Raid: Dead Rising, all have very similar gameplay but with different stories, characters, and level design. The gunplay is very satisfying, but all of the games are very grindy. So unless you enjoy grinding, I would recommend downloading Mod APK instead. Now at number 6, we have Shadow Slayer. Shadow Slayer is a hack-and-slash game with a mix of platforming, in which you control 2 heroes and fight the demon. This game is similar to many other Shadow games, with stunning dark fantasy atmosphere, satisfying combat, intriguing boss fights, and a decent gacha system where you can just buy the premium tickets to get equipment. Number 5, Phantom Rose 2 Sapphire. Phantom Rose 2 is a card roguelike game, in which you must collect the cards to defeat enemies. There is no random card between rounds, and instead, each card has different cooldown. You can choose different paths during your adventure, although you will always meet special events and new NPCs along the way. You can spend real money to unlock more content, but the story should be long and engaging enough in case you are a free-to-play player. Next at number 4, we have Grim Omens. Grim Omens is the sequel to Grim Quest, with similar game mechanics. However, since you play as a vampire, the supply feature has been replaced with the blood. You must get the blood by killing and feeding the enemies, otherwise, you will lose the sanity and your health. The game is currently in beta, but it already feels like a completed game with very few bugs and intriguing storylines. At number 3, we have Combat Magic Spells and Swords. This isn't a typical RPG game. This is a multiplayer PvP game where you earn gold and experience by killing other players. The combat system can be compared to Dark Souls series, with limited stamina and the freedom of choices to customize your characters. With over 10 classes, each has different abilities and weapon preferences. You can play offline mode with bots, or you can face against real players, with both having a variety of modes to choose from. Number 2 has 2 games, Epic Battle Fantasy 4 and 5. These 2 games are the mobile port of Flash games, each with the same turn-based gameplay, but slightly different gameplay mechanics. The 5th one replaces the mana bars with weather system and skills cooldown. Each game shares about 20 to 30 hours of addicting adventure, along with additional content and new game plus to further enhance the replayability. Before we continue, here are 5 other RPG games as honorable mentions. Finally, at number 1, we have Duskfall. Duskfall is a first-person dungeon crawler game in which you control a team of 4 heroes. You can create your own character at the start and find new teammates along the way. Although the world is pretty linear, there are lots of puzzles, secrets, and NPCs that you can meet just by exploring every corner. The enemies can be respawned as well, so you can go back to the last location and farm if you need more gold and experience.